Hi, this is Crystal from Heart and Soul Advocacy. I wanted to talk to parents briefly today about Asperger's and anxiety and depression. I wanted parents to be aware that typically around the puberty age period, kids with Asperger's tend to develop symptoms of anxiety and depression because kids with Asperger's are on the higher functioning spectrum of the autism range. They usually have average to above average intelligence, and they are very aware of their differences between themselves and normal developing peers of their same age. Now, we all know that kids with Asperger's tend to have weaknesses in their social skills. They don't quite, fit in. They're known as being the odd ball in class, per se. And they're very aware of these differences, and they receive a lot of um, instruction from parents, educators, and family members and friends to behave and conform to the norm, basically. So these kids, having, since they are aware of their differences, they are trying very hard at this period in time to conform to the norm. They're trying to suppress their own natural tendencies and behave according to what is considered the norm. This is pretty difficult for anyone, I would say. Trying to constantly act in the way that somebody else would act. That's not necessarily natural to yourself. And these kids with Asperger's, because they're getting older, a lot of times we see them conforming to the norm more. It seems like they're progressing, and you don't really see the signs of, you don't really see as much of the differences between them and their peers as they grow older. However, those differences are still there. They are just suppressing them to behave according to what we call the norm. And with this comes a lot of anxiety. There's pressure on a daily basis to act in the way that people expect you to act, but it might not really feel natural to them on the inside. They're having to, really withhold their own natural, desires and feelings, and the things they might want to say to conform to the norm. And with this comes a sense of depression as well, because they're not fitting in. They recognize their differences. They know that they're not being accepted for who they are. And that would make anybody depressed. A normal person would become depressed if they had to go about their normal day acting like someone else just to fit in or to be accepted. This is what's typically going on with the Asperger's child in the puberty time period. And a lot of times it just worsens as they grow older because, again, they become more aware of their differences, and there's more pressure on them to conform to the norm, to fit into society, to function in the workplace, to function in a school setting, to function at home or out in the public. So I just wanted parents to be aware of this, and I wanted you to make sure that we try not to put so much pressure on our children when it comes to how they behave. Why don't you focus on their strengths, their interests? Tap into those areas and develop those more. Give them something to feel proud about that is truly themselves. That would help a lot. Also seek counseling if that's needed around this time. But really look out for these signs and symptoms of anxiety and depression. And also, I would even consider medication if it gets to that. If it gets to be, to that point. I wouldn't rule out any options. But I wanted parents to really be aware of this. I have a sister with Asperger's, and I also deal with a lot of kids with Asperger's. I've evaluated many of these kids and interacted with them and developed behavior modification interventions for them as well, and really come to know and get more insight into what's going on with them. Another person that I would suggest watching would be Temple Grandin. She has a lot of YouTube clips. She is also a an adult woman with Asperger's or autism, shall we say. But she has been successful, and she shares with others her experiences with Asperger's slash autism, and gives a lot of insight to what's going on inside of the mind of a child or an adult with Asperger's and autism. And it can be very helpful to parents to really take a look at some of her video clips and interviews. They also did an HBO series, an HBO movie on her called Temple Grandin. And she is a success story. And I think a lot of kids with Asperger's can be also success stories. But we just need to, nurture them and protect them from that anxiety and depression that may come about with trying to conform to the norm. So I just want parents to be aware, and I hope this information is helpful. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to view my website or call me or email me. The information should be posted on the video caption, and I look forward to hearing from you. Thank you so much.